So, for this week, I thought I'd talk to you all a little bit about Cairo in Egypt. Obviously, the Great Pyramids are there, and we'll, talk about those later. But first, just for Cairo. Cairo, of course, is one of the most ancient cities on earth. It has been a city since, literally the time of the Egyptians, the time we all read about in the history books. And it's crazy to be standing in a place where you're like, wow, people have been living here for 3, 4 thousand years. People have been here. Modern day Cairo is, of course, a modern city. It looks and feels quite different from one of our cities, though, because of all the ancient history and just, a quite different culture than most American cities. So, one thing about Cairo that you will notice right away whenever you all hopefully go visit someday is that it is very sprawling. It feels like a Los Angeles in a way, in that it just sprawls outward. There are a few skyscrapers with just buildings going way off into the distance all over the place. From my hotel, this is the top of my hotel, and you can just walk out and there's a view of the Great Pyramids. And that's why I stayed here. But also, this hotel was quite cheap. Cairo has absolutely awful traffic. It reminded me of India, actually, in a lot of ways. Like, driving around India must be the most stressful experience in the world. Maybe Cairo is right there, as a tie, too. Just traffic everywhere. People getting out in the street, walking around the streets, huge traffic snarls with no lights at all to tell you, like, where to go, what to do. It was a real experience riding in a car in Cairo. The streets in Cairo are quite like, the buildings are tall and the streets are narrow because, of course, Cairo is not built for cars. It's such an ancient city. What that means is that a lot of pollution gets trapped in there. And so walking around the streets, a lot of times there's trash on the ground. The air feels very heavy with pollution. Even back in the neighborhoods, trees are few and far between. Even nice little neighborhoods didn't really feel great walking around there for a while. But I do think that walking around places is the best way to experience them. And so when I was walking around Cairo, got to find all kinds of cool little markets and little sort of decorations and things like that. So whenever you all have a chance, when you get a little bit older, I do recommend you kind of travel that way some. Like, do some walking. Don't just take a tour. Don't just fly spot to spot. And so, because that's the way you get to experience and see all this cool extra stuff. So Cairo's markets are, of course, very famous. You got this sort of still outdoor, bizarre feel for the markets. And then always coming back to the pyramids. Giza, where the pyramids are, is actually a different city from Cairo, but Cairo's so big, it basically grew into Giza, and now they're really just part of the same city. The government did something pretty smart, though. They wouldn't allow anybody to build too close to the pyramids and not behind the pyramids. And you can see it's just a pure desert back there. So the area leading up to the pyramids is still actually quite pretty, even though all around back there is that huge, sprawling, busy city. You have the minaret towers from all the different mosques in Cairo, and those are always interesting, having the call to prayer being heard from those 5 times a day, I believe. You can see right there, getting on buses is an adventure, but just kind of something really interesting. Just from all different places in the city, you can see the pyramids looming in the distance, especially like the biggest one, the Great Pyramid back there. So there you go, a little bit about Cairo. I hope you all enjoyed learning something about it, and make sure it's on your bucket list as somewhere to go someday too. So take care and have a good week. Bye.